Hey guys, if you haven't seen the news, obviously I'm not going to be around this weekend for a viewing party and all that kind of stuff. And because of that, actually, we have a little bit different schedule for the videos this week. Rather than putting everything all in one on Friday, I'm actually going to divvy them up so you guys get a little bit more detail on each specific topic. So today is going to be all about North America and the predictions we have for this weekend of RLCS for week number 4. Without further ado, let's play the intro and get right into the predictions. A lot of stuff to cover. Obviously, a lot of matchups. They are 6 matchups. If you guys don't know, the schedule did get changed up due to the issues with servers they had in week 1. Everything kind of got pushed back. So they're doing a makeup for that on March 9th, where they'll have a double header. So in the schedule here, it actually shows that all the estimated start times were going to be different, but they're going to do EU in the morning and then NA at night. So we actually have all the matches being shifted up. This is technically what it should be for week 5 to my knowledge. So we're getting that a little bit early. The big spicy one at the end obviously being Cloud9 versus G2. So we ended up putting in the standings just to kind of give you guys a general idea of what's on the line. It makes it a little bit easier to follow. First game up, we've got Ghost Gaming versus Flight. Flight in a really rough position right now. Obviously they played Cloud9 last week. And even though Cloud9 and Gimmick started playing well, honestly, it was because they're playing Flight. Flight just continues to look completely perplexed when it comes to positioning and how to rotate. There was times where you saw Rapid go for boost in one corner, and then instead of covering the defense, he would go to the complete opposite side of the field, and it just... They seem lost, almost to the extent that they're overwhelmed based upon the opponents that they're facing. So it's very difficult to give them the nod of what's going on. I also said last week on Friday that whoever lost that matchup between Flight and Cloud9 was almost guaranteed, from what we see from the rest of the season based upon the strength of schedule, that team was going to find themselves in the bottom and be pretty much auto-relegated. And because of that, I have to say the same thing. I just can't actively pick Flight to win any of these matches. I think they're in a really rough situation, and I don't foresee that changing around anytime soon. As for Ghost, I'm pretty happy with where they're actually trending. You're starting to see Mist fit a little bit more into the play. My question mark has never been Mist. It's more so been, what is Illusion's impact going to be? And it's been pretty good. I think Mist and Atomic, both on offense, are really flashy, really strong, a lot of pressure. It's just, can they sustain that with a third person now that Mist no longer really wants to identify that role? So I think this is going to be a very fast, aggressive team going against a team that struggles on defense. I could honestly see a 3-0 in favor of Ghost Gaming in this one. I don't really see Flight putting up too much resistance. At this point, I said that Flight was going to be a team that was going to have to make people fight for it, and I don't know. It's almost as if they've given up, and I know that's not the case. I know they're still trying really hard, but I can't convincingly give them a win anymore in any capacity. They look deflated, and it's unfortunate to see because I do think there's a lot of potential with that team and some of those players. So at this point, those teams need to be focusing on, how can I make myself be as impactful as possible. Someone like Nolly over in Europe, who's doing a phenomenal job and really performing well, even though his team's losing matches, he's someone that you can easily see getting picked up and snatched from their team in hopes of making a roster better in the future. So I hope Flight starts focusing with that kind of mentality, kind of like how we talked about Torment at the beginning of the season. Game 2, you've got Energy versus Rogue. Energy looks like the best team still super phenomenal. Last week was kind of a cakewalk for them. They ended up with 3-1ing United, but they did end up dropping to Space Station. A close match. I thought it was going to go Energy, but Space Station again continues to learn to adapt and make really good plays. So we'll touch on more of them later, but Energy over Rogue. I think Rogue might drop a match, maybe at the most, but you're looking at the best roster on paper. The previous world champs going up against a team that's still trying to find their identity. Rogue looked completely sloppy. Wonder was missing open net after open net. It was really frustrating. The positive, though, for Rogue is First Killer looks confident. You're starting to see him more and more involved, and he's making passes into the midfield. He's trying to find his teammates. He's not overcommitting on stuff, which is fantastic to see, because usually when you're under a lot of pressure, those small mistakes, those mental issues really start to exploit. So I'm glad to see that he's starting to fit in with the team. I would love to see future tense Rogue pick up like an Arsenal Atomic kind of style player to go along with First Killer, and Kronovi support that, because we've seen them win the Brawl 3 times with a playstyle like that. So super excited to see where Rogue is trending, and it might still take one more roster change until they're truly competitive, but I'm glad to see they're putting up a fight. but it's Energy. At most, I see them win a game, but we could see another 3-0 for Energy. It's hard to pick against that. Ghost Gaming going to be going up against Sonics, and honestly, Sonics have been looking pretty clean for the most part. Still hit and miss kind of here, but Shock is easily the rookie of the year for me. He's looking absolutely phenomenal. Dapper played out of his mind, and happy birthday to him last week. He played on his 21st birthday, and they got the W. Sonics is looking really good. I still think there's a lot of flaws, tons of mistakes still coming out, but overall, Sonics will put up a fight. I think this is the team that I wanted to see out of Flight, being able to make people be competitive. But Shock is holding it down. My questions have been completely answered about him. I'm still seeing inconsistencies through Sathu. And overall, like, Dapper's Dapper. You know, he can pull it out. It's just a matter of what Dapper's going to show up on the day. So, depending on what Sonics we see, the nice thing is they have a very grounded Shock. And I thought we were going to get kind of an off series for him, but he continues to perform every single time. So really happy for Shock. No matter what, he's really proving his worth as a player, and it's just a matter of if Dapper shows up or if one of those two players shows up. Sathu had some moments, but he's definitely still inconsistent, needs some stuff to work on. On the other side, you've got Ghost Gaming. We already talked about them earlier. I think they're going to have a great warm-up match against Flight and be feeling good and confident. They're going to come in super aggressive, really fast, and they're, unfortunately for Sonics, going to deliver Sonics their second loss. Ghost Gaming is going to find themselves at 2-2 as well, holding the tiebreaker over Sonics, which is actually a big deal later on because I feel both these teams could be in that spot where they're fighting for the 4-5 area. So Ghost Gaming, I think it'll be a close match, but Ghost's aggression will probably find some issues. This one's going to be up to Shock. Can he hold it down on defense? I think I have to give it 3-2. I want this to be a really close match, but I think Ghost will take it just due to their playstyle. It's very aggressive in your face. And I don't know if Sonics is going to be able to withhold that kind of offense. Next up, United versus Rogue. Rogue playing their second match. Obviously, they're going to have to find a way to bounce back against Energy. I think the mentality of that, though, is they know it's probably not going to be a win anyway, so they shouldn't be too distraught. It's just a matter of if they can get some wins or find some sort of momentum and how down on themselves they are after the loss. They've got a game to bounce back, some time off, so hopefully they can come back and take a much-needed win against United. United is a team that is in the exact same place in the standings with them, and this is where you're going to start seeing those breaks in the standings as we get into week 4, week 5, kind of that halfway point. Really big match, actually. Another team that United plays kind of like Veloce, almost in a sense, where they're not really anything threatening on offense, but they will punish you for mistakes. They're super clean. They play as a team, but the things that get me still, you know, I thought we were over it, but I had a lot of questions about Roldiz. I think the team themselves as a unit play well together, but the only way they win is if one player pops off. If Ajax isn't doing it with the help of Hoxer, we don't see it. If Roldiz is, you know, just, I hate to say it, but he botched a lot of really easy shots last week. There was a time where the ball played out and it was in the front of the net. If you guys watch my highlight video, you see me facepalm during it, but he smacks it with the side of the car and grounds it to the left side wide of the net. And it's like, you got to put those with power on target, and you're just not seeing it. And I kind of looked over it just because Roldiz at land just stepped up and he had such a good performance and impressed me that we started to see it the first couple of weeks, and now it's reverting back to those same tendencies. So I really want you to step up. I think United overall can take this. I think this could be another really close match. But I hope this is where Rogue starts to find their footing. I think they're going to feel confident. I hope Wonder gets really heavily involved. This one could go either way. I find this one actually really hard to predict, but the only reason I think I'm going to go with this team is because they didn't make a roster change. And I'm going to go with United. I think Rogue still makes quite a few mistakes, and United can punish it. I think they're going to have a little bit more breathing room compared to what they faced last week against NRG. We could see United have a pretty good series. I think this will go 3-2. I do believe this could go either way. I'm not sure how this one's going to play out. I'm actually really interested. Let's hope we see First Killer really shine. Let's hope we see someone other than Hoxer hold it down. I want to see Roldiz really step up in this series. I know Ajax will have some room to do some stuff, but they could find ways to exploit Rogue pretty easily. If they can put pressure on Wonder or Kernovi even, I think they have a pretty good way to get a victory. So United, bring out that aggression, show them that you guys are going to play simple, consistent Rocket League, and you'll get a win. Next up, you got Pittsburgh Knights and Space Station Gaming. Space Station Gaming, I said they were 2 weeks ago the best team in North America from what it looked like, and they then immediately faltered, and then the next week they come back and they beat Energy, the team that everybody considers #1 in the region. So Space Station, I like what you do, but I also have questions. And I've gotten to talk to Chrome quite a bit on the CJ show. And if you guys haven't already, Tuesday nights, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, go check it out. It'll be me, CJ, Jazzo, and Chrome all talking about matches and all that fun stuff and actually rehashing a lot of this. So if you guys are watching this video, check in later tonight. You'll be able to come hang out with us. And we'd love to have you there at CJ show on Twitch. But Chrome and this team do a really good job of adapting, but I think they also play down to their competition sometimes. And I think this could be a really good opportunity for them to come in and really play well and show that they are a top team in North America. Everybody considers them to be the second seed, and I don't blame them. I just need to see it against a team like PK, who continues to struggle. But then you see on the complete opposite of it, they beat Ghost Gaming last week. So I don't know. Is PK finding their mark? Is AJ getting more involved? Are they starting to feel more comfortable with their results? Like, what's actually going down? Because every time I look at these matchups, I see the opposite result of what we expect to trend. And it's a really exciting thing, but at the same time, it's like, what's going on? So, Space Station, I'm going to leave faith in you. I think you are the better team. I think you will pressure well. I think you will cause a lot of problems for PK's defense where you start to see them clump up, because the issue I have with them is they still haven't figured out the rotation and how AJ is supposed to be involved. Gyro instinctively plays defensive when he's under pressure, and they all cluster to the same side of the field and makes it really exploitable. With a player like Arsenal out there and Sipical, who I still think is one of the best players in North America, I think Space Station can really find their footing and continue that trend of getting a win against Energy, feeling confident, and bring that through. I just hope they don't take Pittsburgh Knights lightly, because they can surprise you if they're on. Last but not least, last match of the day, and I totally understand why, but unfortunately, Cloud9, I just cannot have faith in you. I know you won last week against Flight, but as I said in my highlight video, if you guys haven't seen it, you beat Flight, and Flight is not good. And Cloud9, even though Gimmick is playing better, it's against Flight, and I have to take that game with a grain of salt. I can't feel confident in you. And the only time you're showing up is in matches that don't really have any value to them. And there was a lot of discussion about this as well. Cloud9 performs well when there's no pressure. They can play aggressive and don't really have to worry about the repercussions. You see it in Astro tourneys where they come up and they show up, but then they get into high pressure situations in the RLCS, which matters the most to these guys, and they fall flat. So I can't actively pick for Cloud9, even though they got to win. They're not back. They're not looking great. There's still plenty of issues. And against G2, who honestly is one of the best teams in North America again, because they work the field, they spread out really well, they're not going to fall for your guys' very generic pass plays. The pressure isn't going to be felt. So I think Rizzo is playing some of the best Rocket League he's ever played, and anybody who's looking out at him, I think Rizzo's a fantastic MVP candidate for the season. I think he's playing phenomenally. Same can be said about JNaps. JNaps is shooting really well. He's hitting his mark. He's going for his passes. And even though they're missing on a couple things, at least the opportunities are getting there, when in the past they just found themselves suffocated on defense the whole time. And in this case, when Chicago is looking the worst out of all three, you know they're playing well. So yeah, G2, I think you're going to have a fucking field day. I think you guys are going to show Cloud9 exactly what they're like. And it's going to be a 3-0 for G2. So unfortunate for Cloud9, but they're going to find themselves 1-3 and have a hard time digging out, because their season coming up is going to get worse and worse and worse based upon their matchups they have coming up in the next couple of weeks. And last but not least, obviously, I appreciate you guys all coming and hanging out. But before my voice gives out, I just want to say thank you again. The transition into the non-casting thing has been kind of weird, and I'm glad that I'm able to do stuff in Boston for the PAX thing in lieu of that. But it really means a lot. The support on streams, the ability for you guys to come out, the subscription numbers are climbing, the viewership is climbing, and I can't thank you enough. It allows me to support myself so I can continue to provide this content. So if you guys don't already, I beg you and I say thank you. Please hit subscribe, turn on notifications to see when we go live. I want to hear you guys' thoughts and opinion. Make sure you leave comments, all that kind of stuff, as I would love to get back to you guys. But seriously, thank you, and I appreciate all the support. But we will catch you guys next time on the next video. Tomorrow we've got some replay analysis dropping for Workshop Wednesday. Peace.